Last time, on Return to Seasons, we explored the Baltimore waterfront from our dinghy. From the Domino's Sugar Factory to the Inner Harbor, we enjoyed taking in the city from the water. During this visit to Baltimore, we dropped the hook between marinas near the anchorage labeled Number 7 Fells Point, Canton, on active captain. We tied up the dinghy to the city's free dock, where a bunch of derelict boats held court. It was clear that none of these boats were going anywhere, except maybe to the bottom of the harbor, anytime soon. Our goal on our first morning was to revisit a wonderful breakfast bar in Fells Point called Lucia's Joanne Kitchen. Jeff was craving their bim bim bap, and I had a hankering for some potatoes and eggs. Once we were satiated, we decided to explore the neighborhood around Fells Point and check out the waterfront from the land. After walking around for a few hours, I was starting to feel a little snackish when we came upon a crepe bar. I was delighted to find out that they made gluten-free crepes, but I also quickly realized I'm not a fan of buckwheat. Ugh. Back out in the town, we walked down to the pier we had explored the day before from the water. We found a gaggle of ducks hanging out at the kayak dock where we had illegally tied up our dinghy last season. We hung out here for a while, watching the birds, sleeping, dreaming, and occasionally cleaning themselves.
I take the camera out, then I'll go back to sleep.
As the skies clouded over, we headed back to Bear to check on the anchor, and just to regroup. We were pleasantly surprised to spot a pump-out boat in one of the marinas on our walk back, though we're not sure if anchored boats can call on it for their services. Once the shower passed and we were certain that the anchor was well set, we went back ashore in search of a good watering hole. We landed at the Wharf Rat, a really cool bar in the historic district that is supposedly haunted. One of the reasons that we chose this place was because of my love for bar trivia, and it turned out to be a spectacular game.
You have to repeat myself. 7-way chug off. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. All right. Here's how you're gonna have to do it. Broken toe, man. Try to think of how I can do it. That's rolling. Everyone's are chugging rolling. So you got to chug that beer, and the first one to sit the glass on the ground without breaking the fucking glass is gonna win. On the ground. On the ground. On the count of 3. 1, 2. Make sure to cheer on. 3. Go.
The next morning we got a late start to the day and headed straight to Alexander's Tavern to check out their extensive menu, complete with plenty of gluten-free goodies. Our mission for that afternoon was to do some more sightseeing, including the areas outside of Fells Point. On our walk just north of the main shop and bar area, we found a spiritual shop that piqued our curiosity. It was filled with candles, incense, and charms for all sorts of ailments. We couldn't help but buy a few gifts for our friends back home. From there, we headed northeast toward a gold spire that we could see from the anchorage. Sadly, when we arrived at the Ukrainian Catholic Church, the gates were locked, and we were not able to get a glimpse of the stunning architecture from inside.
Pagoda, pagoda.
Across the street, we ventured up the hill to Patterson Park, and we checked out the pagoda. This pagoda was designed in 1890 by Latrobe and had been closed in the mid-1900s for renovation, and then closed again in the early 2000s and renovated again. Apparently from the top of it you get a great view of the river and Fort McHenry, but it's only open on Sundays from 12 to 6, April through October. So keep that in mind if you plan to visit. After a jaunt around town, we headed back to Fells Point and decided to find as many bar games as we possibly could. Jeff totally schooled me at pinball, but I attribute this to his first-hand knowledge of The Sopranos, which I have never seen. And I showed him how to do the robot. Upstairs at Alexander's, we had some pretty serious cutthroat games of bags. And then we headed over to Bertha's for some world-famous mussels for dinner. All in all, it was a great trip to Baltimore, and we would visit again. We hope that you will take the time to stop there when you're in the Chesapeake and anchor in either the Fells Point, Canton area or in the Inner Harbor. It's a great town to experience, and we hope that you won't miss it. Next time on Return to Seasons, we have our last sail of the season across the Chesapeake and enjoy a beautiful day aboard Bear. And then we take her out of the water and get her ready for hibernation. We hope you'll join us next time. Thanks for watching, guys.